Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you guys and be really honest. This story has a lot of details that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities, not only because of what happened, because I'm actually going to show you guys, I think, the full video as well as the news video, but my commentary. And I got to say thank you to those who emailed me this story. And I remember I responded to one person and I told them, I'm like, look, if you want to hear my honest opinion about this story, I'm going to tell you. I know what you might want me to say, but I'm always going to say what I feel like is the right thing, because I'm going to say something that might not sit well with some of y'all sensibilities. This might not be the channel for you if you came to hear the news. This isn't the news, and I'd like to say thank you for those who decided to subscribe and everybody who understands that this is not the news. I'm here to give my commentary about this 14-year-old girl who recently gave birth to a baby. And I'm going to tell you, it is so much wrong with this story. Let's just deal with that first sentence. Sentence number one. A 14-year-old girl who just gave birth. I'm going to say it again. A 14-year-old girl who just gave birth. Okay? First of all, why is a 14-year-old girl pregnant? That's the first question I would ask. Where are her parents? Why is she pregnant? I know you can't watch your children's every single waking move, but I think a diligent parent would be good enough to be able to make sure that this type of thing doesn't happen. Let me explain. This is a 14-year-old girl. Let me back the picture up real quick. That's her face blurred out, but that's the 14-year-old girl. Well, we can call her a girl or we can call her a mother. Which one do y'all want to call her? Do y'all want to call her a mother or do y'all want to call her a girl? Because what that girl did was made a grown woman choice and chose to become a mother. The same thing as if a boy went out and had a baby. He's no longer a boy at 14. He'd be a father. Okay? We could debate those intricacies, but that's literally what it is. As a parent, I have a 13. Matter of fact, my daughter's actually getting ready to turn 14 in just a few months. So I'm literally old enough to be this 14-year-old mother's dad. That's what's scary to me. I don't understand how you get to this point and where are the parents. That is so vital and so crucial. And the fact that I haven't seen an interview come out from the parents yet. Why they haven't spoke out? Are they scared? Does she have any parents? Does she live on her own? Did she run away? Who did you have sex with at 14 years old? Somebody brought up Britney's got a baby, but Britney's barely got a brain. A damn shame. The girl can barely spell a name. She's just too young to end up in this situation. And let me also say this. For those who actually take the time to educate their children, we haven't even got to the story yet. That's how crazy this is. For those who take time to educate their children, shouldn't most teenagers, as girls, have a semblance of knowledge of to not have sex, what it is to be taken advantage of, which we would call that rape. Number 3, condoms. Number 4, birth control. Day after pills. Potentially abortion if we have to use that as an option. It's an option, so why can't we talk about it? If abortion is so bad, why do we still have it as an option on the table? Huh? But we'll get to that. We might be gun jumping, but we'll get back to that. A 14-year-old girl who just gave birth. This girl walked into a restaurant. Let me see if I can get that restaurant back up on the screen. It is called Cafe El Patron Restaurant. So she walked into the El Patron Restaurant in New Jersey and gave her newborn baby to a customer before she just walked out. The incident took place at around 4 p.m. on Wednesday, and this looks like this took place less than a week ago, actually. The restaurant owner, Frankie Avalar, told Penn Live that the teenager walked into El Patron restaurant looking a little bit desperate while holding a newborn baby in her arms. The restaurant owner said that the 14-year-old girl then started asking customers and the staff for help, prompting employees to call the local police department, who they thought could assist the girl. Which again is weird. Why is she walking around? How did we get to this point? Why did you think a restaurant would help you? Do you not? Like, I thought we taught children as kids to call 911. Am I wrong about this? My 2-year-old daughter knew what 911 was. Why would we not call for help? Do we not know about Safe Haven? There's just so much wrong with this. Anyway, but so instead of walking to a hospital, she walked to a restaurant. Before police arrived at the restaurant, the teenager handed the baby, which still had the umbilical cord attached. Oh my goodness. And handed it to a customer by the name of Elise Scott, and she quickly left the restaurant. So if y'all want to, no medical attention. Where did she have this? I'm going to say some stuff that's going to make y'all mad at me. She's more worried about her hair than the baby. Do y'all think I'm lying? Look at this. That's why I said, unless y'all want me to do the story, I'm going to be honest. Honesty is the policy, right? So if DJ Just Jay is going to be honest, then I have to call out what I see is wrong. Here they are, right here. Look at what's on her head. There's the baby right there. And that customer, Elise, is right here. She eventually picks up the baby, and then they come over here, and she sits down at the table. I just don't understand the mentality here that you're more worried about your hair than you are a baby. And if you just had a newborn baby, how are you able to walk around? I've never given childbirth. I don't know what that's like to squeeze a human child out of my body, but I've seen it happen. Shout out to my daughter's mama. I've watched it happen. I watched how my daughter's mother was in pain, and she actually had pain inhibitors. And she was still in pain. So as a 14-year-old, you're not even a fully developed woman yet. You give birth and you're able to walk around? What did you do? Damn. Just gave birth and started walking around? I mean, I'm just like, I don't get it. That seems like that would hurt. Like you'd be in pain. Like, how would you be able to walk around? Why would you not call 911? But let's move on. Scott, who was eating in the restaurant with her boyfriend by the name of Walter. I don't know why they put their full names in here, but they did. Walter Cocca. It's spelled C-O-C-C-A. If I pronounced that wrong, bro, I'm sorry. When the incident took place, and they told the news that she asked the 14-year-old if she could check the newborn's vitals. She said the girl readily handed the baby over to me, so my focus went right onto the baby, as the teenager then just walked out of the restaurant. Now, I know a lot of y'all wanted to have all this sympathy for this 14-year-old, but I want y'all to hold y'all mule on y'all judgment until you hear the rest of the story. Scott, who's trained in CPR, so this woman literally got lucky. Elise Scott is trained in CPR. She got so lucky that this woman was trained in CPR, said that she could tell that the baby was having trouble breathing, and told the police, who responded with oxygen and other medical gear. She said, once I applied the oxygen mask to the baby, All of a sudden, we heard the most beautiful cry, and the baby started moving. She slightly opened up her eyes and then closed her eyes, but the sweetest thing is that she got hungry, and when she tried to suckle on the oxygen mask, we knew that the baby was okay, and that's a beautiful thing. I'm just so happy I was there to help because she was desperate and didn't know what to do because she was so young. I'm going to read that again, and I want y'all to underline that point because we're going to come back and talk about it. She said she was desperate and didn't know what to do. She was so young. Can y'all remember that? Bookmark that because we're going to come back to it. When you're talking about young, shouldn't you go to your parents for that? Mom, dad, uncle, grandma, grandpa, somebody, 911, the fire station. Hell, you could have called Ghostbusters and you could have had a better chance of getting some freaking help. Come on, man. Young? That's 14 years old. Shoot, I'd be mad about my daughter not being responsible with her debit card balance. I'm like, girl, you better balance that account on there and know how much money you got in there. Shoot. At 13 years old. Anyway, the 14-year-old was found by police later in the day and was taken to New Jersey to the Jersey City Medical Center after being detained for a short period of time. She will not face charges. I repeat, she will not face charges, and the baby will be put up for adoption. What a hell of a way to start life. New Jersey has safe haven laws in place. And let me say thank you to Miss June Bennett, who has been posting that link in the chat for I don't know how long. New Jersey has safe haven laws in place which allow the parent of a baby to drop off an infant who is less than 30 days old to staff at a hospital, police station, fire station, or first aid employee if they aren't able to parent the baby. So I think she might have got lucky because she gave the baby to somebody who was trained in first response. She got lucky. Very lucky. Now, prior to the incident on Wednesday, New Jersey Department of Children and Family Services tweeted about the law, confirming that the process can be anonymous. If you're stressed and you feel like you have nowhere to turn, or if you've run out of options, don't panic. Linking the drop, and they tweeted that linking to the drop-off locations in the state. And I think that's it. But let me show you guys the video because I'm sure that's what most of y'all came to see. Let me give you guys the fair usage. And I want to just know what y'all think. So leave your comments in the comment section, or if the video is over, leave your comments in the comment sections because I want to see what you guys got to say. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
A teenager desperate for help leaves her baby in the hands of strangers.
It happened at a restaurant in Jersey City this week, and as CBS 2's Kevin Rincon reports, it was all caught on camera.
Not sure where to go or what to do, this 14-year-old girl decided to go into this restaurant. Seen here going to the counter with a sense of desperation.
She looks at me with these really sad, terrified eyes, and she asked me for help.
That's when Elise Scott got up, sanitized her hands, and stepped in.
I sat down, I checked the baby's vitals, the heart rate was strong, but the breathing was really labored.
As she was helping the teenage mom, left. Luckily for Scott, she's had training in CPR and first aid, not to mention she herself is a mother of 3.
I was just so happy once I got the oxygen mask onto the baby and she started to cry because that meant that, she was going to be okay.
And I want y'all to remember, this is a random guess. That 14-year-old had no idea. I think that's just divine intervention. Purely. That girl had no idea, or I should say that mother, had no idea that that woman was trained in first aid
Mom left. Luckily for
and just left. I just don't get it, man.
Breathing was really labored.
as she was helping the teenage mom left. Luckily for Scott, she's had training in CPR and first aid, not to mention she herself is a mother of 3.
I was just so happy once I got the oxygen mask onto the baby and she started to cry, because that meant that, you know, she was going to be okay.
Scott's boyfriend, Walter, abandoned as a baby himself, was emotional.
Wow. This is, whoa.
She's crying. Oh, you're hungry. Oh, my goodness.
He captured the moment that newborn could be heard crying. Here at El Patron, the teamwork of a restaurant owner and a customer, that's created a special bond, knowing they helped save a life.
There's been so many incidents where she could have put the baby in a trash can or left the baby with a stranger that would have done some harm to the baby.
And for what she just said, I do agree. And it is a good thing that she didn't harm the baby. That's, let's just say, not even a good thing. It's just a positive thing and something that could have been very bad. But there's very, very many bad things, but a positive thing for that baby, okay?
She did the best thing she could do under the circumstances. You could have left the baby anywhere. He couldn't even be alive. But instead, she allowed the baby to have a second chance with at least somebody.
Police were able to catch up with that 14-year-old girl. She was taken to the hospital. She will not be charged. That's because of the state's safe haven law, which allows parents with babies up to 30 days after they're born to drop them off safely at a hospital, police station, or firehouse. In Jersey City, Kevin.
Firehouse, and also they said with a first care person, I believe. Let me see if I can look that up one more time. Let me make sure. Or a first aid employee. That's actually 4. She got lucky. So for those who want to actually see the full rescue video, let's take a look at that, because like I say, even though this is a positive video, I did see some things that I wanted to call out. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of that, but let me show y'all the full video. But shout out to the couple. They did a very, very, very beautiful Good Samaritan thing. And while that woman has 3 kids and that man ain't married to her, she seems like a sweet lady to that boyfriend. Sounds like you might have a good woman there, bruh. Might want to go ahead and put a ring on that one.
The El Patron Mexican restaurant in Jersey City may not be a police station, firehouse, or hospital, but for the 14-year-old girl in this video, seen wearing the black jacket and blue sweatpants, the local eatery was indeed a safe haven.
This girl comes in asking for help, really like desperate eyes, like asking somebody, like pleading, can you help me?
The teen was carrying a newborn baby wrapped in a towel and frantically approached restaurant owner Frankie Aguilar Wednesday afternoon.
She was asking for the firefighters, but it was a very dangerous situation because she ended up being the mother.
That fact was not apparent at that moment.
But then when I saw the baby's head, I'm like, whoa, that's a baby.
All Elise Scott knew as she sat down eating her lunch was that the baby needed help fast.
She said, I need help. And so that's when I stood up and I walked over to her and I said, well, is it possible for me to take the baby's vitals? So she readily handed the baby over to me. And then I sat down and I started checking the baby's vitals.
The 14-year-old gave Elise a quick story and left the restaurant.
At first, I said to myself, well, let me get your name if you're just going to drop the baby off, because she said she was in a rush. She had to go pick up another child.
Elise just happens to be a mother of 2 grown sons and a veteran CPR and first aid trained preschool teacher. When the police arrived, the officers deferred to Elise as she applied their oxygen mask to the baby's tiny face. Elise's boyfriend, Walter Coca, recorded part of the encounter on Facebook Live.
At first it was unreal, then it became heartbreaking. It totally broke my heart just to think of the fact that this baby now has no parent.
But I'm glad that she chose us, because she could have chosen any other option, things that were not good to speak of, but instead she said, you know what, as a 14-year-old girl, she had the mental capacity to come in and say, you know what, this baby needs a chance.
The baby was taken to a local hospital and again is healthy. As for the 14-year-old mother, she is not facing any criminal charges. And as a reminder, New Jersey has a safe haven law which allows a parent of a newborn to drop off that infant at a firehouse, at a police station or a hospital. No questions asked, no criminal charges. We're live in Jersey City tonight. Jay Dow, Pix 11 News.
Anyway, let me give my closing thoughts about this story. First of all, beautiful baby. This ended in a positive fashion. That's good. We can put a prayer hands up for that. At the end of the day, we have saved a life. Beautiful thing. Somebody saw something, said something, did something, jumped into action. Beautiful thing. Bravo. Bravo to both of them. To her, she could have handed the baby over to the guy, but she handed the baby over and got really lucky that this woman did have some type of medical training. So that was a beautiful thing. Okay. Second thing we have to talk about is how this 14-year-old girl / mother got into this situation to begin with. Who was she having sex with? Was it somebody that was an adult? Was this rape? Was this consensual? Was it somebody her own age? Because I'm assuming she didn't impregnate herself. So who the father is also important. And so I'm sure that story is going to come out. That's going to be a whole nother story in itself. Then you'd have to ask yourself, where in the world are the parents? Like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Where are this 14-year-old girl's parents? Mom, dad, anybody? Nothing? Nobody knew anything? Did nobody know that she was pregnant? How did they not know that she was pregnant? How did she have time between school and should be at home getting pregnant? When, where, what, why, who? It's just so much we don't know. And I'm sure that story will come out and it'll give us a hell of a lot more clarity. But the fact that she was able to just mob around after giving birth, I mean, that is a traumatic thing to happen to your body. And just to be able to just walk around, ain't like nothing going on with your hair bonnet on, and here, take this baby, I'm gonna stand there and look for a moment, and then I'm gonna just walk off. It's just a very weird and unsettling thing. This is the story we're gonna follow, but I think that's a good woman. She seems like a very sweet woman. I really like her demeanor a lot. So if that man is her boyfriend, why? Because he kept saying friend. I don't really know what that means, even though on the website Newsweek.com said boyfriend in this freaking thing. Referred to him as a boyfriend eating at the restaurant with her boyfriend Walter. I don't know, but I will say this: she seems like a good woman. I heard she got 3 kids, but nonetheless, I don't know if that's kids by him. I don't know, but she seems like a sweet woman. It's a good thing. It's a positive thing. I'm glad that she did have some medical training because clearly it paid off. And it's just a lot of unanswered questions. And if we do an update, it will be to provide the answers to those questions. Okay. Thank y'all for listening with an open mind and an open heart. And we hope to get, like I said, justice for that baby, because that baby is going to need good parents. And we need answers in order to get to the justice of figuring out what happened in this story, how we got to this point, in order to do what's best by that girl / mother and the baby. Okay. This is DJ Just Jay. We are the AFC and we put the children first. All right. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment. If y'all disagree with something I said, leave a comment. We'll talk about it in the chat. See y'all on the next story. Okay. Peace.